I have a ficus stuck. There we go. Tried to save this ficus. Somebody had ordered it and returned it to MacBid, which is something I'll talk about one day, is my obsession with MacBid, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to make it. That's not what I'm here to talk about today. Today, I'm really limited on time because I really value my time with my son, and he's going back to school tomorrow. And so this is definitely, again, going to be messy, and I just can't care about it, just like my hair. It's messy. I don't care. Why is this now? What's up? Whatever. A friend of mine and I have been trying to troubleshoot some audio video issues as we installed a new system to improve things. And I was going to talk about making things 1% better every day. And I think I will talk about that a bit more later, but kind of keep that in mind, right? If you have a big goal, if you just can get 1% better every day, and I don't know who to attribute that to, I don't know where I first heard it, but a lot of people talk about that. But it is so true, and it really helps to have that mind shift. The other thing that I wanted to address yesterday, I didn't acknowledge two different people, I guess we'll put it that way. The first is that idea of a shitty first draft. I actually didn't know where it first came from. I heard a lot of people, again, like once you start getting into these different learning opportunities, a lot of people are regurgitating a lot of the same information without attributing who it went to. I don't want to be that type of creator. Now I can't remember her last name. I'm going to put it in the link, but her name is Anne, and I don't remember the last name, but she ended up coining that term, shitty first draft, in a book she wrote, which I really appreciate the idea of the book as well. It was, and again, I don't have time to remember all these things. I'm going to have to keep going forward, but Bird to Bird. And it was about her dad giving her brother advice because he had this project, I guess, on birds. And it was just, to complete the project, just focus on one bird at a time kind of thing, which I really appreciate that analogy. You might know that there's another one about eating a very large animal, but my son proclaimed to us at 3 he was a vegetarian, and I'm going to respect that and not talk about that other analogy that people use. Anyway, I don't know if my audio is recording, so again, I want to make this quick because I want to go help prepare. My husband and my son, maybe my son, are both preparing. We're having some of his friends over today for kayaking and swimming. And that kind of led into my thought about today, sharing a thing. Well, the other person I need to acknowledge very quickly here is my husband. Oh, I wasn't going to give that away at first. You know what? F it. I have to do this live. I don't have time. So, I'll just share that story another time. But my husband is the person that I happened to call while I was walking down the hill with the carbon monoxide poisoning. Yeah, we'll just keep it at that. So, hi, honey. I mentioned you. So, the other thing that I wanted to just talk about is pay attention what your attention is called to. And that is partly how we came to be here at our property and on this now 3-year journey into creating a place for people to come to disconnect from technology, to reconnect with nature. That's something that's been really important to me ever since my cancer journey started in 2019. I realized that was something that was really dear to my heart, but I let other things such as workaholism get in the way. And that'll be another topic for another day. Though, pay attention what your attention is called to. And that's part of my kind of awakening process. It's why you'll see, 1111 and my name, and also I mentioned I was trying to post by 1111, and it is now 10:45, so we might make it today. But I'm often asked, why the 1111? And it's one of those things. I will tell you a very quick story on that. I mentioned to somebody I was dating, I see 1111 all the time. And they said, "Oh, I see 111 all the time." I'm like, "Oh, isn't that interesting?" And so we ended up breaking up. we had only dated for a couple of months, and there was it's a longer story. But anyway, then I started dating somebody else, and he saw 222. And we both were like, what is up with this repeated number? So we looked into it, and you can see different things people say about it. And this is like before more people started seeing it. But people will talk about angel numbers, wake up calls, things like that. And so we broke up. The next guy, I noticed his email was 333. And so I was like, do you see 333 all the time? He goes, how did you know that? What does it mean? And then we broke up. Actually, a friend of mine and I both realized that we were dating him at the same time. That was kind of interesting. So then I believe the story because he and I talked about this the night before my wedding. But a friend of mine, we were out and I think for coffee or dinner. And I said, do you happen to see 444 all the time? And he was like, how did you know that? I was like, this is crazy. I'm going back to Mr. 111. And I didn't actually say that, but I did end up doing that. We had spent time apart, and we both were thinking about what we wanted in a partner. And I worked with someone who said, write it all down, like write down exactly what you're looking for. And she shared the story, like she was in London, but she did the same thing. She wrote down exactly, and she got very specific. Like she was looking for somebody that was a philosophy major, that had long hair, that played guitar. I was like, and she got all of that. I mean, his hair had been cut and he had gone into finance, like what we were doing. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. So I wrote down everything that I was looking for in a partner. And unbeknownst to me, my husband also was going through a list of what he was looking for. And then he kept thinking, oh, Judy was all of those things. And then he pursued me. And it was really interesting because at the time I was working on Wall Street, and I remember coming out of the building and I would see these young kids skateboarding. And I thought, oh, I want to do that. I want to come out. I was middle aged at the time. I'm 50 now. I guess that's coming middle age. But anyway, I would come out of the building and I would think, how cool would it be for me to jump on a skateboard and just, in my suit, and like shock these kids. And so I got this phone call, and it was from Mr. 111, my husband Adam. And he said, do you want to learn how to skateboard? And I was like, yes. And now we have a 9-year-old son, and, we've been building up our dream life together. So pay attention what your attention is called to. I've had to stop and restart this a couple of times. So I hope that this is cohesive in some way, or that you at least got something out of it. But try that out. Pay attention what your attention is called to. Like you're becoming more of an observer of the things that you're encountering and your reaction to them. Try that out and get back to me. You can use the comments and whatever, or maybe you already have a story where your attention was called to something and you acted upon it. But yeah, and I know I'm going to be bringing up different threads of conversation. Please let me know what you'd like to hear about more. If that's why I did this video today. My husband, for one, said I didn't mention him, but also another friend's been helping me set up my audio. We didn't quite get it dialed in for today. It's 10:49. I have a goal, 11:11. Get this posted. I hope you found something of value. Please, uh, if you even just say hi in the comments, but please like and subscribe. And I'll talk more about that maybe tomorrow. Anyway, I hope everyone has a wonderful day.